So guys, welcome, and good morning to everyone. It's Marco Meriotti speaking from EAGE-SEG Italian section. Welcome to everyone to the 5th episode of Chatting With. It's a pleasure today to introduce our guests. It's a special moment for us because we have the honor to meet the team of Federico Secondo di Napoli, the university who took part recently to the last Imperial Barrel Award 2021. And today there is the team of students that participated to this contest. So it's a unique moment, I think, for all the Italian Geological and Geophysical Society, because these guys, at the last step of the global contest, they reached the third position, winning the Stoneleigh medal. So I think is a pleasure. And first of all, guys, congrats for what you have done, and many thanks. Yeah, yes, Mariano. Yeah. And just a few words before to pass to leave the floor to Mariano Parente. What is Imperial Barrel Award? Is an international contest organized by American Association of Petroleum Geologists. It's an annual prospective-based evaluation competition for geoscience graduate students from universities around the world. And for sure, it's a great moment for the education of the students, and especially for networking. So there is a board, a committee that evaluates directly the presentation of a case study assessed by the students. The entire team was helped by many industrial advisors and professors. They supervised and helped the guys during the various stages of this competition. Okay, before to pass to the main course of the interview, I'm honored to present Mr. Mariano Parente. Mariano is a professor of the University of Napoli Federico Secondo. I think he's been working for the University of Naples for at least 20 years. He graduated in geology in 1993. He attended his PhD course there. Then he moved to University of Basilicata as a lecturer and for sure as a consultant for many E&P companies. He has a great experience, and he is an expert of carbonate geological environment. So it's a pleasure to have you here, Mariano. And just 2 questions for you. I would like to ask you, why did the Federico Secondo decide to take part in the initiative? And what is the achievement reached by the team? Mariano, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Marco, and thanks a lot for inviting us to this chat, to this interview. Why we did participate in Imperial Barrel Award? Actually, when I first knew about when I first heard about the Imperial Barrel Award, it was kind of eureka, because I was looking exactly for something like that. Me and other colleagues here at the University of Naples, we had the impression, that the feeling that we were doing pretty well in teaching geology and geophysics and all the other stuff, but we were missing something more practical, more industry style. So we were looking for an activity, a teaching activity that was more related to what happens in the real world, more problem solving, the kind of stuff that is really what you do when you work. And so I started gathering information about the Imperial Barrel Award from colleagues that had already participated in another university. And I realized that it was exactly what I needed. And it was really a great occasion for our student. But I also, when talking with these colleagues, I also was convinced that it was very tough, very challenging competition, and that especially that at the core of the competition, there was the interpretation of subsurface data. And the problem was that our students were not yet ready for that. And so we had to move forward. So we had to change in some way, our teaching program. So first move was to invite Davide Jacopini, that is sitting here in the court. At that time, he was at the University of Aberdeen. So we invited him to give a short course to our student, full immersion on petrel. So interpretation of seismic data with petrel, because this was a key aspect of the work for the Imperial Barrel Award competition. And so after that, it was still not enough. Of course, it was just a week. But I decided to be brave. So we jumped in, and I enrolled my first team. This was back in 2018. So this was the beginning of the story. Our first participation was in 2018. And, at that time, it was pretty tough. Huh? So the first experience was kind of horrible, terrifying, because I got the impression that the other teams, the teams that got the first position in the Europe semifinal, were much ahead. So I still remember the ranking. It was the EFP Institute, Paris, Stavanger University, it was Uni La Salle, but all the other, the team from the English University. I mean, our students were good at doing basin analysis, but when it came to interpreting the seismic, dealing with subsurface data, they were simply not ready. It was not that they were not good enough. It was not their fault, of course. Simply they were not ready because our teaching program was not good. So it was terrific because of this. And so at the end of the first participation, I had two opportunities. I had to face two possibilities: to quit, so never ever participate again in the competition, or to fight and try to find a way to climb. And I decided to be brave, and so I started fighting, and we started climbing. So next year it was much better, but still not enough. Then in 2020 it was glorious because we got the second position in the Europe semifinal. So we were still behind the Imperial, the EFP, and the EFP eventually won the global final. But we defeated Stavanger, Manchester, University College of London, Uni La Salle. So it was really glorious. And then this year, first position in the Europe semifinal, first Italian team to get the first position in Europe semifinal, third position in the global final, the Stoneleigh medal. So it was really glorious. So I must say that we climbed it pretty fast, much faster than I expected, because it was just 4 years, and we started from nothing, and now we are, let's say, we are at the top. So this was our experience. It was really glorious and a lot of fun, I would say. Challenging, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you, Mariano. For sure, it was. And so let's pass to the students to hear some news about the participants of the team of the University of Federico Secondo in Napoli. So here with us there is Mr. Augusto Maresca. Augusto is a master student of the course of Geology and Applied Geology at the University of Naples, specialization in structural geology curriculum. Actually is working on the study of breccia body mass transport deposit on the top of the ridge of Montefateo, Sorrento Peninsula. And especially, he was the captain of Federico II at the Imperial Barrier Award this year. Good morning, Augusto.
Good morning.
Then with us there is Miss Flavia Ferriero. Flavia is a student. She's attending her Master of Science course in Applied Geology at the University Federico II in Napoli. She graduated in 2019 for her bachelor degree in geological science, and for sure she was a member of the team. Good morning, Flavia.
Good morning. Good morning.
Then Mr. Mohamed Abais. Mohamed is a PhD student in the Department of Earth, Environmental and Research Science, University of Naples Federico II. He graduated in for his Master of Science and Bachelor degree with honors at University of Peshawar in Pakistan. So good morning also to you, Mohamed.
Good morning.
And the last but not the least, there are the two geophysicists of the group. So we have Mr. Giuseppe Ferrara and Salvatore Boninfante. They belong to the SEG student chapter of Naples. Giuseppe is a master student of the course of Geology and Applied Geology, a specialization in geophysics curriculum. Currently in thesis, he's working in an interesting thesis in tectonomagmatic and geophysical characterization of Pine Island, one of the largest yet least understood reef systems on Earth, in the West Antarctic Reef System. Welcome, Giuseppe.
Good morning. Thank you for the presentation.
Then Salvatore. Salvatore is a student graduated in geological science with honors as a bachelor degree, currently graduating in geology and applied geology. His current thesis work is based on the study of gravimetric field of mercury and on the application of depth estimation and inversion methods to characterize the crustal structure of the planet. So good morning also to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, guys, for the first question, I would like to hear the opinion of Augusto, Flavio, and Mohammed. So, guys, why did you decide to participate in this event?
Yeah, so let me introduce this question. So we wanted to participate because we knew that the Imperial Barrel Award is a competition that was well known to the students of the master's degree who were chosen to follow the curriculum in geology, like me, and which comprises the course of the petroleum geology, from which the selection is made to participate. So, and also to the students of the geophysics curriculum, because the previous teams of the IBA included a lot of the students because they have a lot in common with the IBA, with geophysics. So the participation in this competition is equivalent to an internship plus a team project. So it counts for a total of 12 credits in our learning experience. And our colleagues that participated in the previous editions told us that it was a really good experience, so we could miss this opportunity to participate in a more unique than rare event during the university experience. So this has involved us and committed us for a little longer than expected. The members of the previous year's teams told us that we will work as in a real industrial team. So with tight deadlines and meetings with the supervisors represented by the professors and the advisors that are present here. They were telling how good this was in professional training because it was very rewarding also working with the colleagues. In my case, let me say, everyone bound a really tight relation, so I can call them friends. And everyone had different skill set and expertise in the various fields of the geology. So day after day, we worked in the same room. And so this also created some situation of personal growth, but also at times some funny ones. There are also various other reasons why I decided to participate, including, of course, the awareness that the participation, regardless of the result, will greatly enhance our curriculum, giving us more opportunity in a postgraduate world. Another thing that personally gave me a huge boost to participate was the excellent placement made by the guys who participated the last year. Yeah, because after their success, they got the second place in the European semifinal, as previously said by Professor Parente. They presented their work in an online meeting, which was attended by some of the most important personalities of the Italian academic and industrial geological world. So at the end of the event, I remember that Professor Parente said that the following year he would aim higher for the victory, and it happened. So there, I already felt a minimum pressure because I already decided that I wanted to be part of this project. So this is my personal story, but now I'll let the word to the other members.
For me, at first, I was not sure I wanted to participate because I knew the difficulties, the commitment, and also the time necessary to carry on the work. I was also skeptical because the topic covered are quite far from my main studies, which concern mostly engineering geology. In the end, I decided to participate, driven by the curiosity and the desire to learn and have new experiences. Participating in this project was really a big challenge for me, but I'm really happy to have faced it. I think it made me grow from various points of view.
So during my undergraduate and master studies, I was quite attracted by the world of exploration and production companies, and I wanted to have a career in the oil and gas industry. So when my PhD supervisor, Professor Dr. Alessandra Iannacci, suggested me to participate in the IBA 2021, and the academic advisor invited me to join the team, I was quite excited to have the chance to deal with the activities which a geologist does in any E&P company. Besides, I thought participation in IBA 2021 would enhance my skills and could make my profile distinctive. Through IBA 2021, I thought I would integrate with international Italian fellows, which are now my good friends, and experience the duties of geologists and geophysicists involved in any hydrocarbon exploration project.
Good, thank you to all of you. So, but there is I would like to know, because it's a curiosity, guys. For example, Giuseppe, Augusto, and we can hear some news even from Mohammed. How did you prepare the various steps of the competition? How long did it take? Because I know that it could be pretty tough. You have a lot of things to manage, you know, thesis, exams, etc. So, tell me your secret.
Yes, Marco, you're right. Thank you for the question. The training actually started a few months earlier, in September, when with some members of the current team, we decided that we wanted to live this adventure. In fact, we started by attending the course of petroleum geology, master's degree course given by Professor Parente. And in that course, we were given the theoretical foundation, starting from the formation of oil and gas, source rock, sea, reservoir characterization. But we were also introduced to the industrial approach to the study of basin prospectivity, starting from the basin analysis and then moving to play basin evaluation and the prospect volumetric risking. In fact, at the same time, we worked with Professor Jacopini that is here, who trained us in the seismic interpretation and well to seismic tie. That is maybe the skill that we used to win the European semi-final. Through the Petrel software and many other information about subsurface data. But he gave us the training that was fundamental when we received the data on which to carry out our study and give us the knowledge to reach the final goal. Then, in January, our training became more intense and constant. In fact, we began to train with the industrial advisor, with Dr. Giorgioni. We had a 3 days full immersion on well logs and analysis and the basic concept of petrophysics to use them in the exploration project. While with Dr. Scheiner, that is here, we focused on the play-based evaluation and on risking and volumetrics by performing a simulation 10 days before the starting of the competition. When the dataset for the competition was released by EAGE, it was a training while working. In fact, during the 8 weeks of the project, we had to use softwares for which we had no specific training, such as Neuralog, for example, to digitalize wells, or RockDoc to analyze well logs, or Petromod that used to 1D and 2D to generate a source rock model starting from burial, thermal history, and maturity modeling. On top of this, since the dataset was mainly about delta system, we were giving a quick overview on segmentology and the sequence stratigraphy of coastal to deltaic sedimentary system by Professor Sergio Longhitano, that is a professor at the University of Basilicata. Thus, it was a continuing training, starting from September and ending with the achievement of the final goal, the European victory and the third place in the world. Then I move to Augusto.
Yeah, thank you, Giuseppe. Well, from my personal point of view, besides all the training mentioned by my teammate, I can say that I attended other courses in the first semester so that I could improve my knowledge on the various topics concerning the competition. So I attended the file system based analysis course by Professor Keogata, the seismic exploration methods by Professor Pierpaolo Gennaro Bruno, and in the end I also attended a course of probability and statistics offered by the engineering department, and it was very useful for the work on volumetrics and risking.
Ahmed, sorry, the mic. Yeah, thank you.
So doing petrophysical analysis using a new software like RockDoc, for me it was quite challenging. But due to the detailed lectures of our industrial expert Giorgioni and the assistance of Mr. Luigi, member of IBA 2020 of the Star Unina, me, Flavia, and Giuseppe managed to carefully read the whole well data set and to perform the petrophysical analysis.
Thank you, guys. So we have just talked about organization, okay? But now I would like to hear some news from Salvatore. So Salvatore, what are the main difficulties when taking part in a competition of this type? What did you face?
Thank you, Marco. First of all, you have to consider that the competition consists in a simulation of the work being done by geologists and geophysicists of the exploration companies, and that must be carried out in just 8 weeks. So therefore, the first problem we had to face was the management of the time we had available and the organization of a workflow to be strictly followed in order to carry out all the tasks of the project, and to leave the last week to prepare the final presentation, which puts together all the work done in the previous weeks. So, however, the working plan has been subject to change over the weeks. In some cases, because we were not able to complete the tasks within the fixed deadline. In some cases, because we had to change the approach or the methodology following the input of the advisors. So the competition requires an almost daily confrontation between us to find a solution to every problem as quickly as possible. That's why the IBA represents an extraordinary exercise in teamwork, and that's why this experience was so important to improve our skills. For such an intense work with such a tight deadline, we had to dedicate ourselves almost exclusively to the IBA in the 2 months of the project. And we had to put aside anything else, having to work about 12 hours a day. On top of this, we then had to face technical problems related to the use of softwares. In some cases, we have to learn how to use some specific tools of this software during the project itself. Other difficulties were related to the data provided for our study area, as a limited and incomplete quantity of seismic and well data is made available to the team. Of course, the judges in the final evaluation take into account also the approach that each team has used to address and solve these difficulties, especially working with an incomplete data set. On the other hand, in our specific case, the area we worked on was the Bight Basin in South Australia. It is a frontier basin in which there is still no oil field in production. This made the work even more difficult and complex since there was no producing well to use as an analog, at least at the play level. In addition, for the final presentation, we had to choose what to show to the commission and how to show it in the most effective and direct way possible. As the time set for each presentation was only 25 minutes, so 5 minutes for each team member. And we also had to concentrate on the preparation of answers to any possible question that judges discuss in the 10 minutes following the presentation. So overall, the greatest difficulty was certainly the organization and the division of the teamwork, and therefore the decisions to be made every day to manage and optimize the time as much as possible. However, this led to an important improvement in our organizational decision-making, communication, teamwork skills that hardly we would have obtained if we had not participated in this competition.
Good, thank you, Salvatore. So, Flavia, what did you like most about this event?
So thank you for the question. Certainly we have learned a lot from this experience, but I think the most interesting aspect was to really understand what teamwork means, and above all, to get an idea of how the world outside the university works. We have grown a lot from the point of view of the knowledge acquired, but the most important thing, in my opinion, is that we have had the opportunity to understand what it means to work with the real problems, and in a context that is similar to that within the industry. So 5 different people with different specialization had to work together, merge their knowledge to reach a common goal, each bringing their own contribution within the group. So doing a lot of work in a short time, meeting tight deadlines, and having the ability to solve new problems every day are a situation that we are not used to, but which certainly represent a continuous challenge that allows you to overcome your limit and grow more and more. I also like the comparison with the other big university from all over the world that participated in the competition. The more because we were competing with the university that have a tradition in the field of the petroleum geology that is certainly older than ours, and from which, in my opinion, you can learn a lot. Finally, it was a source of great pride for me to be able to represent Italy in such an important competition. We were the only Italian team and the first one to win the Europe region semi-final, so the first one to get the stone medal.
This is a magnificent academic event which puts students in a rigorous and practical environment and compels them to learn and practice those activities which most of the geologists and geophysicists experience in their professional career when they join the industry. This is a really nice competition which gives an opportunities to students across the world to exercise the duties of any geologist and geophysicist of any E&P company.
Yeah, and let me add another thing. I want to add that another great part of this job was that we could attend university building with a special permit despite the pandemic, and working also late hours during the weekends, obviously following strict restrictions. And also we rent a flat nearby the university, living an experience very similar to a college one. So I enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah, thank you guys. For sure, all the pandemic context and situation, it was pretty tough, to manage, especially for a competition like that. But as I told you before, you reached a very important result. So thank you to all of you. And so I would like to hear some news. I would like to wonder another question to Mohammed. How has this experience enriched you?
So thank you, Marco. Participating in the EAGE Imperial Barrel Award 2021 was a great and memorable experience. This competition enriched me in so many ways, not only scientifically, but also professionally. I have gained substantial experience. This recognition, the Stanley Medal, is a product of a lot of commitment and hard work. As I am a foreign student in Italy, this competition gave me an opportunity to work with my Italian teammates and friends, thereby enhanced my communication, interpersonal presentation, teamwork, and scientific skills. This competition also revealed that time management is the key factor in any competition. Moreover, the IBA 2021 gave me the opportunity to work with highly reputed professors and industrial experts who improved my overall skills in so many ways. Professor Mariano Parente's commitment, dedication, hard work, and mentorship was outstanding and is also revealed by the result of IBA 2021. Besides our industrial advisor Marissa Giorgioni and Peter Scheiner, and Professor Dr. David Jacopini are thanked for their suggestions, encouragement, and mentorship from the very beginning to the end of IBA 2021. All the time, their guidance raised my intrinsic motivation. Their suggestions motivated us to work hard and to the best of our ability, and fortunately, we got some good results. During IBA 2021, I have learned about the geology of the Bight Basin of Australia and assessed how challenging this frontier basin is, having limited and some specialized petrophysical logs, not the commonly used conventional whole logs. Besides, I learned to work with software like RockTalk. IBA 2021 has given me a chance to showcase my talent and skills. During this competition, I also made new friends. Participation in IBA 2021 and then winning such recognition increased my confidence level. More significantly, the Stronley Medal of IBA 2021 has brightened my curriculum vitae. And after all, any challenging competition enhances learning in one way or the other.
Yeah, I would like to add that from a scientific point of view, we have been able to improve our technical skills, especially by using the software that are used by the energy companies, as well as improving our personal skills on teamwork, time management, and communication. So I can say that the IBA has also enabled us to create strong ties both between us team members and with the advisors and professors who supported us during the project. Furthermore, it allowed us to create contacts with other students participating in the European and global competition, and with the professionals working in the exploration industry. So probably Giuseppe wants to say something more about that.
Yes, thank you, Salvatore. In fact, I fully agree with you and Muhammad, and adding that I will highly recommend this IBA experience to students who want to improve and be prepared to get a position in the energy sector. In fact, we made an experience which has prepared us to approaching great companies like Eni or Shell, and the ability to face day by day any kind of difficulties, the ability of solving problem after problem, there are high sought after and appreciated skills from an industrial point of view. That's all.
So thank you guys. So I think the most important thing that I would like to underline is that all the students have acquired the habit to let's say play in an international contest. So before to pass to the last step of our interview, I would like to introduce the professors and the industrial advisors that supervised and helped the team during the various stages of the competition. Here with us there is Mr. David Jacopini. David is actually an associate professor at University Federico Secondo in Napoli, and he's an expert of seismic interpretation, especially in advanced 2D and 3D characterization, even in image processing and in structural geology. He graduated at University of Pisa. Then he attended his PhD course, splitting his time between Pisa and the University of Mainz. And so he was a lecturer of the University of Aberdeen, and right now he's based in Naples. So for sure he has got an international experience, and it's very important for the students to interact with an expert like him. Then there is here with us there is Mr. Peter Scheiner. Peter is an EMP senior consultant and advisor. Peter has got a great experience in many roles, in many different jobs. He started with British Petroleum as a seismic interpretation expert. Then he moved to Shell Malaysia as exploration team leader. He worked for Petrocetic Italy as a managing director, and right now is a consultant. So thank you, Peter, to join us today. Then there is with us Mr. Alessandro Iannace. Alessandro is a full professor of the University of Naples in sedimentary geology. He got a master in Paris. Then he moved for his PhD course at the University of Federico Secondo in Napoli. His researches have been centered on fishes and the genesis of carbonate rocks, particularly the dolomitization of Mesozoic successions of southern Italy and Sardinia. And for sure, he worked even for industrial purposes, using field analog studies as a tool for subsurface reservoir characterization, especially in Italy, Greece, and Iran. Good morning, Alessandro. Thank you to join us today. And the last but not the least, Maurizio Giorgioni. Unfortunately, Maurizio is not present here with us, but he supervised a lot and he helped a lot of the team during the various stages of the competition. He's an expert in petrophysics. He has been working for Shell since 2001. And actually is a team leader for petrophysical purposes at Shell Italia. So the first question I would like to wonder to David. So can you explain me how did you support the students during the competition stages?
Hi, I think one of the main challenge of this competition relate to the fact that the student have to put together skills that are ranging from different aspects that are the geophysics that come from the uploading the data, understanding the data which are assigned, which are usually seismic data, well data, and putting together then the fundamental of stratigraphy, structural geology to understand what the structure and the geology is there, and then shifting all those information into the applied side that is then interpreting from a petroleum point of view and to frame all this information in the right context. So our side is essentially to help the student to get the general framework always very clear from that point of view, to help them to put together and to apply those skills to build up something that has a certain significance. So our support is essentially, certainly mine has been trying to support them during all this process of the interpretation, because most of the work is done obviously by the student. All the interpretation is done by the student. So our side is more about helping them to get in the right general picture in there. I have to say that probably another big effort that will get back, as several students as stated in their interview. I think our big effort in reality come before the competition, because it's about preparing our student to get ready for this competition from the mindset point of view and from a technical point of view. That means they have to learn at best they can how to use all this kind of software, to deal with software, to spend time on understanding which are all the tools of those software that at a certain point when the competition starts, the soon as they got those tools, the soon they will get through the basically understanding on the uploading of the data. And it is implied they will have more time to think and build up all their essentially interpretation. So I would say that our main teaching and activity, it's basically across the before and the during the competition. It's about helping them to get information conveyed at best as possible, because then they will be essentially alone working on this project, which is a long project of 8 weeks. And the better they got training from that point of view, the more they will be comfortable with the whole basically aspect surprise they will get on touching new data and try to understand new aspects. So it's essentially for us the challenge is to understand, to get through this game, to be part of this game, and this is our support essentially.
Yes, David, I think you stressed an important point, to be the importance to be prepared, technically speaking, not from a theoretical point of view. I mean, the background and the knowledge is essential, but also the students had to practice a lot using many EMP software. So yes, this was for sure great for them. So let's move to Peter. Peter, I would like to wonder to you, what were your greatest moments when sharing your professional experience? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, hi Marco, and great to be with you, and thanks for the opportunity to talk about the experience. I think in this competition, the role of the advisor is really of helping the students ask the right questions. I think as David has just described, it's really the lecturers and the teaching staff who provide the theoretical knowledge that the team needs to use in the exercise. And I think the role of the advisor is really about helping the students understand what are the questions they need to try and answer. And I think, for me, what that means is the best moments are the moments when you see a light bulb switch on, when you can see that the guys are suddenly understanding how they can use to solve a problem they have, how they can use this knowledge that for them up till then has been quite theoretical, and suddenly they realize it has a practical application and it's a powerful tool to help them solve a problem. And I think, to get a little bit technical for a moment, I mean, one of the areas that this seems to come up a lot, and it came up this year, is around the analysis of a hydrocarbon trap. And in particular, the fact that sometimes you can look at the same trap in different ways, with an obvious example being the difference between a relatively simple four-way dip close trap and then maybe as an alternative, a larger trap that depends on a fault closure. So suddenly you can look at this one object in two ways, and those two different ways you have to approach in a slightly different way from a risk perspective and from a volumetric perspective. And it's just great to see this kind of light bulb switch on as the guys realize that they have this theoretical toolkit, and that they can use this theoretical toolkit to solve practical problems. So that's great. And then I would say the other thing that for me has been very, very rewarding is to see the evolution over time. Because I've been involved as one of the industrial advisors, really going back to when Napoli first entered this competition. And it's been great to see the growth. I mean, Napoli is obviously a university with a very important tradition in geosciences, but really not so much of a tradition, I mean, as Mariano said, not so much of a tradition really in petroleum geoscience. And so I think the first years, there was a lot of enthusiasm, but the team were grappling really to apply the basic concepts. And I think there has been a really great sense of growth over quite a short period of time, and that's testified by the fact that last year the team came third in Europe. It's testified by the fact that this year they won in Europe and then came third in the world. And it's I think that's credit and testimony particularly to the teaching efforts and the efforts that people like Mariano and David have made. I think I also have a strong sense of the sense of group and the teamwork within the department, because I have a strong sense that the teams from previous year, the guys this year talked to and were supported by some of the people who've worked on the competition from previous years. So that is really great to see. It's been great to feel a small part of the development of this growth in petroleum geoscience culture at Naples.
So thank you, Peter. Thank you for your explanation. And I would like to underline a concept that, as you can see, the University of Naples is an example in its point of strength to how the industrial experts can meet, can join, can interact with many experts, many professors from universities. So even this, let's say, this mixture is very important for the education of all the students. And thank you, Peter, really for what you have done for these guys. And the last question that I would like to wonder to Peter, David, or Alessandro, on the contrary, these are two questions, but we can gather them in one. So you know about the pandemic situation, you know about in this period there is the energy transition contest that is affecting the oil and gas market, And so in a period of profound change for the energy industry, what are the innovative elements that have emerged from this competition, like Imperial Baller Award? And even, what would be your recommendation to young students who today wish to pursue a technical, scientific, academic, or industrial profession for sure in the energy sector?
Maybe I can try and pick that up first. And unfortunately, Maurizio isn't able to be with us today, but this is a question that he put quite a lot of thought into. So maybe what I'll try and do is I'll try and paraphrase his thoughts around this question. And I think, he felt, I think, very strongly that an important part of the competition is the way in which it's based in a very rigorous analysis of diverse data sets. And that really the insights that are important and the work that the team does has to be very strongly rooted in that basic analysis of data, what we might refer to as almost as a data mining exercise. And I think, he felt that in some ways that kind of quite contrasts with what we might call the spirit of the times. I think he, for example, picked up on the way in which certainly through the early stages of the COVID global pandemic, it's maybe been quite easy for people to state opinions without necessarily strongly rooting them in data and an analysis of the underlying data sets. So I think one of the things that Maurizio felt very strongly is that, the experience of the IBA beyond its specific application to petroleum geoscience is a very important experience for young scientists in the way that it emphasizes to them the importance of data and the importance of strongly rooting their analysis and their understanding and their models as strongly as possible in data. And I think that that is something that I think he felt very, very strongly that the competition promoted, and that had benefits that go well beyond the IBA and even beyond application to petroleum geoscience. So I think that that was a very clear point of his. I think personally, what I would add, I think I left university and I was keen to become a petroleum geoscientist. And I think through the course of my career, I have tended to seek learning experiences which are very much related to specific skill sets that the petroleum industry uses, geoscience skills that the petroleum industry uses. And I think, clearly there will be space for those expertise as we move through the energy transition. But I think the message I would give to young students graduating today is that, they are going to have to probably think beyond one industry. They're going to have to think that, yes, they may start off and they may work at some periods of their career in petroleum geosciences. They may, in other periods of their work experience, they may end up working in carbon capture and storage. They may end up working in site survey analysis as the basis for, offshore wind farms, for example. So I think I would encourage them to think about the skill sets that are useful across a range of industries, and rather to focus in depth on specific skill sets that are useful to petroleum geoscience or any other specific industrial application, to think about skills and data sets that are broader and have a kind of a transverse application across different industries. Because I think undoubtedly there will continue to be a lot of work in the geosciences as we move through the energy transition, but I think it's unlikely that people will pass their entire careers working in one industry, as, for example, I have.
Perfect, Peter. So the importance, let's say, ought to be from our background more transversal and to acquire, many experiences. But
if I may add something.
Yeah, indeed. So, Alessandro, what?
Yes, I am. Please.
What is your suggestion? Yeah.
No, I am not a suggestion. I just want to emphasize it. I play no role in this big success. I'm just here as a coordinator of the teaching activity in Napoli University. So I'm very proud of our students. I really thank them. And they already said all the good things that we learned from this experience, that we learned, everybody, especially professors. And I hope that all professors of my department will appreciate what these students did and the value of this experience. I just want to emphasize for the present that if there is something innovative, no, you talked about that, Marco, is that Italian university, I think it's a good public system of university. There are very good experience, there are others that are less, but we are known, I think, all over the world to prepare students which have a very good theoretical, normally, knowledge, but they lack a relationship with the real world of the industry. And particularly, we have a system which still is very open, very that leave a lot of freedom to the curriculum of students. Our master degree starts in September, but you may apply also in March. You can change the order of your curriculum. You may start your tirocinio today or next month. So it's very, very difficult. These students have been very good because they selected 2 months of their life. I have seen them working at 9 in the night at their computer, going back home and to continue to mix all together. So they did an experience which in Italy it's really innovative. They started to understand that the real world of tomorrow, of today and tomorrow, asks to have a good knowledge, and they have it, but they have also to be trained to solve problems, to respect schedule time, and this is something that in our university is still quite rare. I'm a strong proponent of making a more rigid framework for the studies because we educate normally our students to be relaxed, to take their time. And they learn that unfortunately in the real world, if you want to get a success, and they got it, you have to respect the time. And I think it's a very, very good lesson for our department, for our university, and for the university in Italy in general. So thanks to these students also for that.
Thank you, Alessandro. David, any other comments, suggestion for these guys? What is your advice for them?
I subscribe entirely what have said Peter and Alessandro. My only comment is that geosciences, with all the application, is an intrinsically, I would say, interdisciplinary part of the scientific world. So that exercise is forcing any kind of student to put together things, to build up a nice story, and to ground it on data. So it's about reading data, try to give a scientific mean on that, but then putting together different aspects that traditionally, academically, are considered different topics. Doesn't work like that. So whatever is going to be their job for any type of industry in the future, whatever it will be, transitional energy, any sort of geological related job, they will be in any case forced to develop a mind skill which is very flexible and looking at connection between different technology aspects. And this is the direction where certainly all the technology is going, mixing engineering with biology, with geology, with physics. And certainly is the skill that is going to be required for the future of this young, bright guy that is trying to, as Peter said, to be very, very quick on learning things and change direction when it will be needed. And the more you got training to be flexible, the more it will be easy. Well, my best wishes to all of them.
Thank you, David. So, Alessandro, you want to add something or not?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Just
yeah.
Let me add that just this afternoon,
yeah,
we will discuss. We have a meeting in our department, and we are going to propose a change in the structures of our master program. And the idea is simply we have not to change so much because we teach already a lot of very good things, from vertebrate paleontology to geophysics. We just want to create more curricula, more opportunity, which will be not so much linked to what is academic knowledge, but what is the knowledge necessary in the real world. So we will try to organize the curricula of students in the direction of the applications, in any kind of application, because the world is changing, and so to put our knowledge to what we have to do, to the service of their possibility to get a job in this world in the future. Okay, and I'm sure that this will be not a problem for our 5 champions.
Thank you, Alessandro. Thank you to all of you guys. And just to conclude our episode, I would like to leave the floor to Mr. Nicola Pajola, who is the Italian section president, for a final comment. So, Nicola, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you, all of you, for this very interesting talk and discussion. And I admire you for what you have done. Congratulations. And what we have done is not very far, as the other colleague told. It's not very far from a real project of prospect generation. At a smaller scale, yeah, okay, but it's very similar. And I must admit that the ability to work in a team is one of the skills that is lacking most in the world in the business. So as David and Peter and the other told, the ability to work in team is what we really need. It implies, of course, a technical knowledge, a deep technical knowledge, without selling off the knowledge, and you have to defend your knowledge in a team. But you have to have the ability to listen to others, accept different point of view, different characters, and the sooner you start to learn this, the better it is for you and for us, of course. The fact, and also the other important point, is that you had a timing, a strict timing to respect, and the fact of having to respect the delivery time of the project probably made this exercise stressful for you, because you have to deliver the project now, and tomorrow is useless, totally useless, and this is stressful. I know, and will be always stressful. But at the same time, is very similar to what happens in the world of the business. So what I'm telling you, that you had the chance to have the flavor of what happens in the world, in everyday job. So this is what I think is one of the important values of this this game. This is not only the game. This is a sort of flavor of what you will have in front of you in the next 30, 40 years. So congratulations to you and to your students, and also to the professors and to the other colleagues, because gave you the chance to have a sort of first touch of what will happen in the next decades. Marco?
So thank you, Nicola. Thank you to all of you. We can conclude the episode. And so, guys, thank you and congrats another time. I hope to see you soon in another episode of Chatting With, and keep in touch, okay? Bye, guys. Ciao, grazie.
Thank you.